We are so proud to have her represent Cranford and the United States at these international games.
No one's telling me that I can't be a unit and be pretty at the same time. Like, no one said that that wasn't allowed. No one said that being powerful and being feminine were exclusive. Like, you can be both.
Catarina sees only the positive side, competing to become a better athlete and a better person.
When it's a good team, there is nothing like it. Everybody lifts each other up. Everybody is motivating each other. Iron sharpens iron.
Hey everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Flame Bearers Unedited, a brand new series bringing to you largely unedited conversation. We heard you loud and clear. You want to hear more stories of more elite women athletes from around the world. So we're going to deliver. In Unedited, we're going to bring you completely unfiltered conversations. We hit start, we have our conversation, we hit end. What we're going to see, though, is slightly different because we're not going to have all the traditional bells and whistles that you're used to in Flame Bearers production. So let's jump in.
Hi, my name is Catarina Guimarães. I go by Cat, and I am a Paralympian for Team USA. I'm also a U.S. Soccer World Cup MVP and an author and a dog mom.
Paralympian was the first thing you mentioned. How did you get into track and field?
So I was born with cerebral palsy, which is a neurological condition that affects the way my brain communicates with the rest of my body. And my parents, from a young age, were very adamant about we need to get her active in sports. It's one of the key ways to manage cerebral palsy. So when I was about 12, I joined an adaptive track and field team, and I had been doing taekwondo and rock climbing and soccer and things like that going into there, all at the rec able-bodied level. And this is my first real adaptive team. And I guess I did pretty good. I made it to nationals my first year, and I beat all the boys, which was exciting, right? I'm very competitive. If you follow me, you know that I'm super competitive. I compete with everybody, and I get kind of annoying about it. I'm working on it, but it helps with sports.
You don't have to apologize for that. We're all competitive here. I think it's great. I think it's a strength.
Yeah, so, then after about 2 years of just doing it once a week, chill, nothing crazy, my coach reached out and was like, hey, you are this close to making your first team. And that team was the 2019 Pan American team heading to Peru. I trained, I would say, seriously for the first time in my life. Other than short bursts. For Taekwondo, I, was there 3 times a week, and I was pretty serious about that. And the discipline from Taekwondo, and we had this thing called this 90-day fitness challenge. So when you went to test for your black belt, you had to fill out 90 days of 25 push-ups, 25 squats, 25 jumping jacks. You had to learn 7 different forms, 7 different weapons forms, 3x7 different forms of self-defense, and like all these other things. And having to do something intense like that at the age of 8, when I was 15 now, having to train to go to Peru, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I had a training plan, I got this. And I made my first team in 2019, and it was a dream. The coolest part about my life right now, I would have to say, is that on that team are many athletes that I have looked up to, right? So when I first got introduced to the para team, I was like, oh my gosh, there's like Jerome Avery, like the guide athlete for David Brown who won gold. There's Jaylene Roberts, the freaking best DP athlete in the States. Beatrice Hatz, who's like an icon and a legend. I was like starstruck. And now they're all in my training group, and I see them every day, and we're like actually competing and eating with each other. And I don't know what happened. I remember my dad was like, you should get a photo with them. And I was like, no, because I'm not on a team with them yet. Like I have to be on a team with them. And then I made the team, and I was like, no, it has to be a Paralympic team, And then I ended up being sweet mates with B at the Paralympics 5 years later.
Okay, I have to ask, so did you get that photo with them? I know you were in Paris this past summer, or are you still like, no, I gotta do something else?
Now it's like, yeah, I have photos. Me and B record reels with each other all the time, and me and Jerome are at practice, and we take a selfie. Me and Jay take stuff. Like it became this natural friendship that I'm so thankful for, but I will never forget being, a 14-year-old and looking at them for the first time, like, oh my gosh, these are like my idols. And now I'm like, hey guys, time for another day of training.
Thank you for naming that. I think that's so humanizing because we see you on television. We are like, oh my gosh, star power. But at the end of the day, I think it's really easy for people to forget that every single athlete has their own role models. They all look up to people. They all like have their girl crushes, their fan crushes, their celebrity crushes, whatever you want to say. So that's really awesome that you were able to actually compete and become friends with them. So tell us about Paris.
So Paris was pretty incredible. When I minored in French in college, so it was pretty cool because I was able to speak the language. I mean, just being part of the Paralympic experience was insane. For the first time, we had this welcome experience. So about a week into our stay in Paris, they actually took us through like a Nike room and a Ralph Lauren room. And we got like our opening ceremonies gear tailored and our medal ceremony gear tailored. And it was the coolest thing. I remember walking into the Nike room and my name was on the mirror. I was like, my life is totally, I'm recording videos with Tatiana McFadden. I don't know what's going on right now. And it was incredible. And then competing at the Paralympic Games is unlike anything. I couldn't even describe it. It's like being in the middle of the Super Bowl, but it's just you. Like, you're not with a team, you're just on your own, like you're by yourself. I remember very specifically for my 400 because it was my last event and I got hurt the day before, so I wasn't really sure what was going to happen during my 400. I remember walking out, I had glammed. I was like, you know what, if I'm not going to run my best race, I'm at least going to look the best out there. So I had butterfly gemstones on my face and like red and blue makeup and my iconic double bun. When they called my name, just hearing the crowd, it was like a vibration in the air. And there's no feeling like that. Like walking out into a stadium full of people just watching you and knowing that they're there to like watch you compete. And, you know, I'm there to give them the best show that they've ever seen. It's awesome. I've always been a theater kid, so you know, it's great. It's like the biggest stage ever.
Okay, so I was actually there during that competition in Paris, watching and cheering. I saw that you later posted on Instagram about how you dress for little girls and how you don't dress for men, and I think you included some footage of the event. For those who haven't seen it, tell us about this post and where that comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I was growing up, I was always very athletic and you couldn't wear bows in your hair and do all this stuff and be athletic. Like you had to, it's always been this very like masculine thing. And I was like dressing as a tomboy and I hated pink and I was like, no pink, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm an athlete, whatever. And it took away some of like the little girl in me because the little girl in me loved dressing up. Like I love princess dresses and all this stuff. And now like just because I'm an athlete doesn't mean that I can't also love dresses and love femininity and love to express myself colorfully. And the thing I think that resonated the most when I broke out of that, I have to be in this barrier. And it's going to sound so silly, okay? There's this book series that I love called Throne of Glass.
Oh my goodness. I'm reading it right now.
Okay. And the main character in that book is, can I say badass? Is a badass. She is an icon. Okay. I love her so much. And she was this beautiful powerhouse who would dress up in these elegant dresses and the most extravagant things. I was like, hold on. No one's telling me that I can't be a unit and be pretty at the same time. Like no one said that that wasn't allowed. No one said that being powerful and being feminine were exclusive. Like you can be both. And I got so many comments of parents saying this where their little girl got in trouble for like putting bows in her hair during softball or like wearing makeup or doing all this other stuff. And the thing that I also want to bring to attention, it's not makeup to like enhance. I'm not trying to sexualize it or anything like that. I'm not trying to, you know, make myself to be something I'm not. I'm genuinely having fun with my makeup and doing cool designs and things like that to just express some joy and freedom and creativity and show the little girls out there that, yeah, you can add glitter and face paint and bows and sparkles and all this stuff and still be a beast on the fields.
You just gave me goosebumps. I remember when I actually stopped wearing my bows and I was really upset. I brought them back later. But yes, to your point, what is some of the feedback that you've got from parents? So you've mentioned that people have stopped doing that, and how do you respond to them?
So a lot of times I'll get two different types. One, I get the haters, obviously, who that's not a good representation of the sport. Like, that's not what the sport is about. The sport is about competing. We don't want to do that. That's not the point. So sometimes I'll try to educate a little bit. And then sometimes when it starts to get to me, I'll just have to put my phone down and realize that, first of all, if someone's hating you, you're kind of doing something right a little bit, because not everybody's going to be a fan of yours. There's this quote where, you have two wolves to feed. You have like the positive wolf and the negative wolf. And you just got to keep filling your bucket with that positivity and stuff like that, because it's really easy to get that dark wolf to keep saying stuff. I mean, you put one red stalk in a load of whites and the whole thing turns pink. So you might as well just try to keep it separate and like keep everything that you can, keep it as positive as possible. If it gets a little pink, that's okay. But, just keep moving forward and moving past it. Realistically, what are these people doing that you want to aspire to be? Like, they're not anyone that you're probably ever going to meet or that probably are ever going to do what you're doing. So it doesn't mean anything.
Those are such great points and things that we like to emphasize, because we have so many athletes who are aspiring to be Paralympians, Olympians, and who are just starting to get this level of fandom and don't know how to deal with it. So thank you for sharing that. You mentioned a couple other things about yourself that I don't think a lot of people know. MVP for the CP Soccer World Cup. Tell us about that. That's so cool.
So I grew up playing soccer. I'm a soccer family. I'm Portuguese. We love Ronaldo. My dad, when I was old enough, put me in rec soccer and I played. It was fine. But they didn't have a women's team. So there was really no future for me. And then when I was about 15, so about the same time that I made the Pan American team, they announced that soccer was not going to be in the next Paralympics. So I was like, okay, I'm a track girly now, because my goal is to be a Paralympian. Soccer's not in the Paralympics. I can't do it, right? But I did get invited to an all-boys camp. And towards the end of 2019, I was the only girl there. And Nick Mayhew was actually visited for a day too, which was pretty cool. It was the first time I ever met Nick. And a couple of the other men's CP soccer athletes were at that camp as well. And I was not the worst, let me tell you. I was keeping up with the boys. I was putting up a fight. 3 years later, January, I want to say like 19th or something like that, they rolled out, all right, we're going to have the first ever women's camp. And I was invited. It was in Florida. Then there was another camp that I couldn't go to because of a competition. And then we had the World Cup that May. And it was honestly pretty quick. Like, I did not even know what was happening half the time. The flight to Spain was tough because I had gotten COVID like a couple months before, and I have a hole in my eardrum. But the plane pressure combined with having like COVID before made me so I couldn't hear out of this ear. So now I'm playing soccer and I can't really hear very well. And I've never met half of these girls before in my life. So it was kind of just, we're going here and we're going to do the best we can. I had so much fun though. I've never played, like we had 5 games in 5 days. It was the most intense thing ever. We played 5 aside, 25-minute halves. It was so hot that they had to give water breaks every 10 minutes. Brain injuries in general, but especially cerebral palsy and thermoregulation don't really mix. Like, I can't really control my own body temperature super well, which is why California's great, because it's an even keeled temperature pretty much the whole time. I didn't expect to win MVP or anything like that. It was kind of crazy to me that I even won. I was just out there having fun and playing soccer and trying to be part of a team. And then when they announced it, my mom and my grandma started crying. So my grandparents are from Portugal, and they drove down from Portugal to Spain to watch. And they brought their dog, and like the dog ran onto the field when I got MVP. He looked cute.
That is so special. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kat. You mentioned a couple different things that I want to follow up on. You mentioned being a part of a team. I know track is a very different dynamic, and especially as like a woman, being a part of a community is, I feel like it's something that so many athletes like to talk about. So share to us a kind of like the role that being a part of a team has played in your journey and your career, both in soccer, but also in track and field.
When it's a good team, there is nothing like it. Everybody lifts each other up. Everybody is motivating each other. Iron sharpens iron. You genuinely get better together. if it's a good team. Unfortunately, not every team is a good team, right? So there are times where like you have a couple bad seeds, you have a couple red socks in the laundry, and that makes it a struggle. But like when you have a good team, like our soccer team, the track team that I'm part of now, like when you have a good team of athletes just lifting each other up and motivating each other and supporting each other, there genuinely is nothing like it, because you're with people now that understand what you're going through, understand your struggle, and are genuinely in it for the pursuit of progress the same way you are, and are happy to see your progress and want to progress also. So, and that feeds like the competitive, right? Nice. So if I see like my teammate do something that I'm like, damn, like that was a really great jump, I want to jump that far. I'm gonna say like, great jump, that was epic, but now I want to jump that far. And then I jump farther and they tell me it was a great jump and we're happy about it, but they want to jump even farther. So it's the thing that we just keep getting better together. And that's what a team will give you more than like anything that you can do by yourself, is just being able to progress and compete and lift each other up constantly.
Totally. What advice would you give to individuals? You've mentioned a couple red socks in the white laundry, for people who are currently in an environment where they're struggling with some of their teammates, because this happens to everyone at some point in their life.
I mean, it's very difficult, but the advice that I would give is really assess what about your environment is helping you, and if the help that it's providing you does not outweigh how much those like red socks are weighing you down, then is it worth it to stay in that environment? Sometimes you do have to change your environment in order to progress, in order to like get away from that negativity, because I mean, repetition creates habits, right? So if you're hearing these negative things all the time, and yeah, you'll fight it in the beginning, but it eventually starts to grate down on you. So is that really the environment that you want to be on? Is that really the team that you want to be on? Maybe you need to make a switch. Maybe you need to have a conversation with those red socks. That's such a weird. Maybe you need to have a conversation with them and say, hey, can we fix this? Like, let me help you so we can be better together. That is also another option, because, you know, people, if someone is willing to change, then that fixes the whole thing. But if someone's unwilling to change that, then you may need to have a look at where you are, and you may need to switch where you are.
I love that. You mentioned taking a look at the environment in which you're in. I know you're a dog mom. You are a published author. Talk to us about your life now and the environment in which you live on a daily basis.
I think this is kind of a dream. I'm kind of living my dream right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I've actually applied to be out in California like 3 times, and I didn't think I was gonna get out here. I'm surrounded by elite athletes, other Paralympians, Paralympic medalists, and we're all training together and trying to get better together. And it's the most incredible thing. Let's see. Yeah, it's been great. I get everything that I need. I get the sleep that I need, the recovery that I need, and the training that I need to just keep getting better and progressing. And these next couple years are going to be really pivotal. Like, I'm hitting a really great spot age-wise too, because everyone is always like, for female athletes especially, you hit your peak age around like 23 to 26, 27. So I'm kind of getting closer to that, which is crazy to me because I feel like I've already been doing sports for so long, but I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much left to go. And that is such an exciting thing. And I'm seeing the progress, and I'm also seeing how much more progress and potential there is. So it's been really amazing, honestly.
And it's almost your birthday, so happy early birthday.
It is. Oh my gosh, thank you.
I love it. So you're talking about the future. What are your hopes for the future?
A lot of hopes. Well, so I'm working on another book. So I hope to publish that at some point by the end of the year.
What's it on? What's it about?
It's a romance novel, okay? But again, I've been thinking about this female empowerment sports thing, and there's not, for the people who love romance novels, there's not a lot of books where the female is an athlete. That isn't very common, right? But there are a lot of female athletes. Like, there's a lot of us, even if you just do a recreational sport. So the book is about a female professional athlete, and it's like not only her journey to the Olympics and stuff like that, but it's also a romance. So, you know, there was another athlete that she ends up, you know, forming a connection with. And then it's like they're in different sports too. So it's like her journey through navigating not only this like stressful athlete life, but also now a relationship with another athlete on top of it.
I think of you as such a role model in the world of sports, and even more narrowly in the world of para sports. What advice would you give to younger Kat? Say, like your younger self is sitting next to you. What do you wish you knew?
It's actually really funny because I remember at trials when I was waiting to hear the announcement, I was like, I just wish I knew what would happen, you know? Like, one, I wish I could tell me from 6 months ago that I would go to Paris, but also me, younger me, I wish I could tell her that all of these hardships and struggles and things that I'm going through and setbacks that I feel like are devastating are all setting me up for future success and are all setting me up for something great. I was having this conversation the other day. I wouldn't be the person I am today without the setbacks and struggles that I had as a kid. So younger me, it's okay. It's okay to cry a little bit. It's okay to feel down and out. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to say, why me? And it's okay to not want to keep going and not want to train today or lift today or do anything today. But if you just keep going and keep putting one foot in front of the other, eventually you're gonna get there.
Oh, my inner self just got so happy hearing that. Thank you. Thanks for tuning into Flame Bearers Unedited. If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a positive review on your favorite podcasting platform or YouTube. If you want to see more behind the scenes coverage, follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, whatever platform you're on, we're there too. Thanks, and we'll catch you on our next episode.